So well done! Our first Python application is written, works and calculate our monthly expenses. I hope guys that you also build homework I give you in my previous video, and if you just joined to this video and you have no idea what I'm talking about, in top right corner you have a link to previous video where you can see how we build this little application to calculate our monthly costs, and we call it expenses. If you remember, I told you that this way how to name variables and the way how we store them in our code, repeating same name for the different values of variables, it's not the right way how to do it. And it's not the right way because what if you want to make total calculation for whole year? How are you gonna do it? You will calculate rent for each month. How? Because for each month you will have different value, and I already explained you. Python read code from top to bottom, and if you change some value in this variable which is defined in January and you change it in February, Python will always read last written value stored in a variable. So this is what you will get when you make final call to read values stored in these variables. So what we need to do? We need to improve this code that we don't have problem no matter when and what we want to call from our script and code to get always accurate result. So, like I told you already, the name of variable should be meaningful, descriptive, and absolutely easy to understand for everyone. So if you make rent for January to be name of your variable and you wonder, is this maybe a little bit too much? No, it's exactly how it should be written. And then you store value of 500. And we say that 500 in this case is integer. So that means we use number to be stored in our variable. We also have different data type like strings, what it's letters, words, like float, it's the same like integer with extension of decimal places behind. And we also have Booleans to define it's something true or false and so on. But in this case, we will extend our values with floats and with strings. And finally, we will make Python to print 3 different data types together. So how are we gonna do that? Let's say that utilities for January are not, in this case, 160. They are 159.55. And it will be great if I type this correct. Utilities. And why is this important? It's important because you will never in your life met only round numbers. You will also have numbers with decimal value, and it's something in Python code float. So we call it float. That means integer with extension of decimal value. Can we calculate these 2 different data types together? Sure we can. Let's see how. Let's first comment this, and let's make one variable which will multiply these 2 variables. Test multiply. Sorry for typos, but I just want to make it as fast as possible. And we will multiply this with utilities for January. And then let's print what we get. Let's run our code and we get some value. But I said at the beginning we will combine also strings, and strings are words. So we will say current month is January. And I hope you learn already that everything what's defined in variable, what it's string, that means have letters, words, should be placed under quotes. Single or double quotes doesn't matter. What's important? if you use single quotes and you say something like this, January isn't warm, this won't work, because see this apostrophe here, what you have will actually close this string value after n, and this will cause error. So there are two ways how you can avoid this to happen. If you use single quotes, you can use backslash. This is something what eliminate any possibility that any apostrophe which is inside your string value will cause any problem. This is exclude mark. That also it's very helpful if you use just backslash like a symbol. But the most easiest way is to use double quotes. And you see that this program will automatically change and closing where program think it's closing tag will change also to this to be double quote, but we simply see it and fix it, and this is the way how we can avoid without any error. So let's get back what we want to show. So current month is January. So what if we want to multiply, for example, rent for January and current month? What do you think, what we will get? So test multiply will be rent for January, and not utilities, it will be current month. And now we want to print this. What we will get? We will get word January multiplied 500 times. And this is exactly how it should be, because you tell to Python, please multiply the current month 500 times. And that's it. So what we want to do, that we get something, what we want to write, for example, in print statement, that both data types can be included without any silly result. Let me finish first our calculation. So we have utilities for January, we have daily costs for January, and let's say they are 110.99, and we have other costs for January, and they are 95.34. Okay, and current month it's January. And let's make a calculation. Total cost for January is rent for January, utilities for January, daily cost for January, and other cost for January calculated all together. So when we print in this case total costs for January, we will get that total value is 865.88 something. So we have now three different data types stored in our variables. So like you see, rent for January is pure integer. Utilities, daily costs, and other costs are floats because have decimal value. And current month is what? String, because it's word under double quotes. And that's the way how we should type strings and store them in variables. So what the heck we are going to do now that we get clearly and easy to read result for our total cost of expenses in January. So like you see here in variable we use plus sign where we calculate other variables and store them in third variable. So we say that total cost for January, which is variable, is calculation of other four variables: rent, utilities, daily cost, and other costs. And we can do that without any problem. We can store other variable values in some new independent variable. There is no problem at all, and it's very common case where you want to short writing of, you see, many things here and just make them to be part of new variable, and later when you call this variable you will have everything what it's written inside of longer code. So code shorter, that's the main point. So now when we have all values, we want to calculate all our expenses and total cost, and we want to write final sentence where we will combine integers, floats and strings in one function, and we will all together make one statement where we will say that for current month our total expenses are some number of euro. So first way how we can do it is that we create another variable and we call it January costs, and we say like this: hard-coded string total costs for, and we need to put space. We have variable for current month, then we say with space before and after are, and then we say total costs from for January in previous variable, and we add in the end currency euro. And now when we print it, we will get one error because we didn't print it, but we will get error anyway, because, do you know why? Let me try one more time. Because they say like this, that this value what's written in this statement, it's not float what should be written, it's expected to be string. So that we avoid this trouble, we will convert this to be string. So also number. And now when we print it, we will get statement what we want, that total costs for January are 865.88 euro. But that means we will need to do this for each month separately. Let me show you the newest way, modern way and current way how you can, with formatted function, get this same result to work and looks better. I will show you the most common and newest way how you can do it. It's formatted function, so everything what's inside should be in quotes. And what we are going to say now, we will say total costs for, and we put in this current month are, and we put this total cost for January, and we put this euro, and we run it now, and we get that total cost for January are 865.88 euro. Do you see what I just did? I use one very simple, see, F, it's called format function, that I can put 3 different values in the same statement. Only thing what I need to do, when I put independent string, I can just simply write it because Python expects this to be string. And when I put something else inside what is defined in external variable, I need to put it inside like this. And everything else what I want to put inside, spaces, letters, words, whatever I want, I can simply type it. I don't need to put space under quotes like in previous older way we did it. I can simply write how I will regularly write this expression, and on place where I want dynamic content, I will put it in the way like you can see here. So this is something what will be dynamic content. And what that means? That means if I want to change current month to be February in this case, I will get in my result that total costs for February are now 865.88. If I want to put this price to be a little bit higher, I will again get different value. So I change everything in variable, but here in this, let's call it function, it's something what it's hard-coded. That means I already put it inside once, and there is no need anymore to change it. That's why we use Python and programming style to be exactly like this, using variables. So we extend, comparing with previous video, what variables are and what data type can be inside them. And I can also show you what Booleans are. Let's say like this. Checking for budget is that, for example, my total cost for January, but it must be written after it's defined, and we know why. Expected budget means that total cost of January is bigger than 1,000. And we will, after this, print expected budget. So what it means? That means that total cost for January is higher than 1,000. What it's not true. That means that in this case I spend less than I expect to spend for this month. So that means lucky I didn't spend more money than I planned. But if I change this to 800, that means that my predicted cost or my monthly expenses, unfortunately, are higher than I expect. This is point how we use Booleans. They will always return, is it something true or false? So guys, I hope this is a little bit more clear than yesterday, and you can extend your program about learning Python in the way that you can now add Booleans, and you can say, this week I study Python for how many hours I expect. It's higher or smaller than predicted or expected or planned number of hours, and you will see Boolean result will tell you is it true or false. So let's keep going. This is very, very interesting, and let's make our program a little bit more sophisticated.